Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank y'all so much for stopping by again. I really appreciate it. Shout out to the NTZ crew. I believe Michael Beecher Life is traveling. What's up, Jacob Jay? Said good morning, brother Cal. Said greetings, brother Cal and crew. All my fourth quarter members, that's Q. What's up, Cisco? You having those silent live streams? What's up, Raymond? Wow, Q said the peso is 60.8. I just checked it. It was 60.69. Either way, that's phenomenal, man. I mean, and before y'all start with this, it's going to hurt the Filipino people. The U.S. dollar is not the only currency being traded over here. Stop with that foolishness, man. The Philippines is actually up against a lot of currencies around the world. Hell, look at the British pound. It's 80. It's over 80. But this is crazy, man. I mean, I told Raymond it's going to be 65. It may hit 70. What's up, Sheldon? That's Gregory. What's up, man? Yeah, it's an energy. He said state of emergency in the Philippines. State of an energy emergency. Okay? But now they said they got enough oil for the end of June. Well, if they put boots on the ground, that's not going to be enough. Shout out to my old heads. I saw Doubtful Genius on here, I think. I saw Doubtful Genius. Yeah, there he is. What's up? What's up, Jeffrey? Tatter? How's the weather over there in Japan, where you are? I know that Blizzard Abroad just came from there. What's up, Kamal? Any new viewers and subscribers joining us for the first time today, welcome. We really appreciate y'all. And then anybody catching this on replay. See, I've got 60.69 for the peso, which is crazy, right? He said, what's up, Cal? Hope you had a chance to watch that video I sent you. I really haven't. I'm going to tell you why. You know, I was in Booby's graduation from 2 o'clock all the way to 5 something. Then we went to dinner. Hell, when I got home, I went right to sleep, but I'll watch it. You know, I like to read. What's up, Doubtful Genius? Thanks for that super sticker. You know, we always have a topic. The good old days are now. Part 3. It could be part 16. We talk about this all the time. But I do want to talk a little bit about my video today about foreigners abandoning these children over here. I wasn't trying to shame anybody. I mean, who am I to judge anybody? It's not what I was doing. I was just bringing up the subject that a lot of foreign men, don't take my word for it, come over here, you'll see it. They're having children over here and they're abandoning the children. They're neglecting them. They're not taking care of the children. They're not stepping up to the plate and getting the citizenship. I mean, some guy put in the comments, imagine the thousands of dollars we spend supporting women and children that aren't our own, and we can't send 5,000 or 6,000 pesos a month for our own child. But the thing is, just get the citizenship. I mean, that would be a good start right there. Because it's different in Vietnam. See, Vietnam's got that Amerasian Homecoming Act. All right, I'm going to show you what that is. I mean, you know, it's powerful because, you know, a lot of, you know, Amerasians was born during the Vietnam War. But it says who had helped children in Vietnam who looked or were known to be part American because their father was a U.S. service member or civilian. These children are called Amerasians, plus their mothers and certain family members. That's who they help. See, there's no such act over here, guys. Okay? But it says, what it allowed, it gave them a special way to immigrate to the U.S., even if they didn't have the usual paperwork proving their father was American. Now, I saw my buddy Sam Davis under my video today. He was telling you why all the documentation was required over here. There, under that Amerasian Homecoming Act, 1987, if you just look American, or you can prove that your father was a service member or civilian over there, hell, you get a fast track, man. That's a big deal. Guys, y'all don't understand. It's tough over here. How many videos out to make to tell you how tough a lot of people have it over here? And then you come over here, jump up and down in bed with one of these women. A lot of times you don't even know. You just cut contact with her altogether. I'm not just talking about the men. The women, okay, have to take responsibility too, but damn, you know what you're doing. Zip it up, wrap it up, or whatever. You know, that's one thing y'all love to talk about. Even a lot of the Filipino vloggers talk about, oh, we don't require contraceptives or rubber. Well, you need to start, because a lot of these men ain't doing the right thing. Okay? It says why it was made. It says after the end of the Vietnam War, there were many mixed-race children in difficult situations, sometimes abandoned, stigmatized, or unable to get proper care. The law responded to that humanitarian problem. They don't have it here, guys. They need you to do the right thing. The women you're dealing with over here, they're young, they're fertile, and you have an unprotected sex, man, you're going to have children. Period. One thing you're going to notice when you come to the Philippines, because guys think, oh, I can't have children anymore. I'm 50, I'm 60. It doesn't matter. This guy's over here 70 years old having children. That's one thing you're going to see. Go to any mall in the Philippines. You're going to see it. When I came over in 2009, I used to see it. This is before I even had any children. I was like, wow, you know, I would be amazed at these older guys with these babies. Brand new babies, guys. Okay? It said how it worked in practice. It says the U.S. set up a program to identify eligible people in Vietnam, bring them to the U.S. under a parole or immigrant process, and give them the chance to apply for legal permanent residency and work authorization. That's a big deal. Certainly over here in the Philippines, but they didn't give that to the Filipinos. So you have a baby by a woman over here, the baby's going to struggle, man. You saw Gail. And sharp as Gail was, you know, she had it hard, man. She was bullied. She said, I just want to know who my father is. That's all she said. She didn't want nothing from that old sorry-ass fool. That's the first thing he was probably thinking. Oh, I got to pay 30 years worth of child support. No, you don't, because she's not a U.S. citizen. Imagine if she could make it over here, what she could do with all the opportunities in America. But some of us are just so low down and ornery, man, that we won't even do that. Imagine this cocksucker blocked his own daughter and changed his number. Okay? I'm sorry. He said, I'll be trying to get my daughter her CRBA when I get there in May, but you don't have to wait. You can work with her mother right now to get it done. You don't have to be there at the appointment. I did my first son's while I was still in America. Okay? Hey, what's up, man? Thank you. Hey, what's up, Clyde? Yeah, you can do the CRBA from America. You don't have to be here. Because it used to keep me up at night with Booby because I'm older now. And I was thinking, man, you know, I need to hurry up and get this done. Something happened to me and she's stuck over here, man. You know, I'm sorry, guys. You know, don't do that to these kids. Okay? But they say there's limitations. It applies specifically to Vietnam. It did not automatically cover Amerasian children from other countries like the Philippines. Excuse me. See, this is the problem. He said, Unc, you a good man. I would have doxed that idiot on TikTok with the following and influence you have. No, I don't do that kind of stuff. What we did enough. Okay? You would think that somebody would have the decency. But I know how we think over there. That's all you worried about is child support. According to her mother, he had paid to have an abortion. But the mother didn't have it. You know, they're in the Philippines, man. Their culture don't allow that. Certainly back then. Okay? And she had the baby. He knew it. He said some guys are already married in America. That's why they don't bother to come back. Well, it doesn't matter. That's being selfish. That's being ornery. That's being ignorant. That's having that middle school mentality. You coming over here laying down with these women. First of all, you putting your life in her hands. She might have AIDS. You're not taking her to the doctor. I'm not shaming anybody. We just having a grown folks conversation. You know, y'all got the memo that, oh, it's easy to have a girlfriend over here. But you didn't get the memo of how easy it is for them to get pregnant and how you should step up to the plate for $200. Come on, man. I sleep good at night now. Okay? Because I don't plan on having any more children. But y'all coming over here shooting up the spot, thinking ain't nothing going to happen. Oh, you know, I can't have babies and I'm too old. It's bullshit. Yes, you can. So it says basically the act was a special immigration shortcut created to reunite and help children with American parentage from Vietnam who otherwise had little chance to move to the U.S. and get legal status. And that's what's happening here. They have little chance of getting there. It's not just Americans, though. It's foreigners. Come over here if you think I'm playing. You're going to see it. You're going to see it. Okay? Right here in little bitty San Carlos City, I see mixed kids all the time. Certainly in Manila, Cebu, and everywhere you go. They're talking about tens of thousands left behind during the base days, you know, when the bases were open. Well, hell, what happens when the bases closed? Hell, I guarantee you there's thousands that were left behind when the Philippines opened from the lockdowns. Okay? That's all I'm saying. He says, if I was in that situation, that would keep me up at night too. I see so many kids struggling here. Well, that's the whole point. He said, what's up, Blizzard? He said, some men don't care about the kids they already have back home. Yeah, that's what I mean. America doesn't send its best over here. A lot of these countries aren't sending their best over here. But the women over here, they can't afford to pass these guys up. It could potentially mean a new life. They don't know the difference between a bum and a good man. They get lucky. So they lay down with these clowns. Okay? For whatever reason. They got to take responsibility too. But they're not asking for any rubbers and contraceptives and all that stuff. They're just jumping in the bed. You know. That's why I tell you these relationships over here are not normal. They're abnormal, man. These are abnormal. What goes on? You know that stuff ain't happening in America unless she's got to be already just a whore. Let's just say it. There ain't no regular women. These are regular women we're dealing with. That situation is so dire that they go to bed with you the first night you meet them. They're not really like that for real. Under normal circumstances, they're not like that. This is what I'm saying. He says we take the Philippines as a joke, not in a humorous way, but as our playground. We do what we want without considering the consequences because we can easily leave the country and never look back. This is it. This is what, but not all of us, but remember, we're all thrown into the same basket. Somebody wrote in the comments, that's why a lot of these well-to-do and intelligent Filipinos don't fool with foreigners. Y'all think I don't know what I'm talking about. We got a effed up reputation over here. Y'all think I just be out here talking. You know, yeah, they're going to roll out the red carpet for you, but in the back of their minds, man, it's like, it's just another one of them no good army foreigners coming over here. Going to take advantage of my daughter or my sister or whatever it is. So they don't trust you. It takes a long time for you to gain their trust. It takes a long time for you to prove that you're not like the rest of them. Because remember, we're all Floyd Wallace when we get over here. What's up, Brock? He said, what's Cal? Let's keep the lights up. Great subject matter. I appreciate it, man. You know, it's like, why isn't more people talking about this? You know, they're always talking in these sex. You know, if you listen to a lot of these vloggers, see, I can't talk about sex and stuff anymore. But y'all know the ones that are, but they're not talking about the flip side of that. And swallowing baby juice and all that old crazy stuff that they, you know, if I was to do it, they would deport me. But they do it. They talk about all that irresponsible stuff. They're feeding their fellow sisters to these crazy ass men for clicks and views. It doesn't matter if they got a foreigner behind them or not. I mean, if they want to do it, let them do it. I'm just saying there's a flip side to it. If you're going to talk about all that stuff, oh, does she take it from behind? Does she do this? Does she do that? They talk about the consequences of that foolishness. Okay? People can say what they want about me. I did it because that's who I am. I don't want a pat on my back. But if I'm going to have a child over here, they're going to have my citizenship. It's their birthright. Y'all don't want to hear it. All y'all want to hear about is meeting the girl. You know, and blowing her back out. But when it comes time to do the right thing, well, these is the women that's doing it too. He said, Unc, as long as they're making Filipinos that look like Fretchy and Whit D, men won't stop shooting up the Filipino club. Yeah, but these are the women that are talking about this stuff too. But they don't talk about the flip side. All of them. You know, if I did that, they call it human trafficking. Or exploiting Filipino women. When they're the ones doing all the exploiting, they get a pass. Tell them to talk about that. Because I'm sure they know somebody. Okay? That's in that situation. But they'll never bring it up because of the shame involved. But oh yeah, a maid. They're talking about your maid with benefits and all that stuff. Guys, that's irresponsible over here. Okay? If you're going to do that kind of stuff, man, protect yourself. Protect the young lady who has her whole life ahead of her. I'm preaching right now, but I'm not judging anybody. Y'all grown men. You're going to do whatever you want to do. But it's far more, it's far too many babies being left over here. Thrown in the garbage. That's what's being done. Okay? You guys are, oh, it's not mine. You're sleeping with so many guys. Okay, well, take the DNA test then. What's up, Rich? He says, I can't get down with the weed thing. This is about a small amount of dirty, rotten men that come here to dick down some women because they can't do it at home. Well, when I talk about we, I'm talking about men. Okay, it's just a figure of speech. Obviously, it's not a small amount, though. It's not a small amount, Rich. I got to disagree with you. A lot of men are coming over here dicking down, that's your language, these women. They're just very fortunate that the woman doesn't become pregnant. But a lot of them are. Okay? A lot of them are. Tens of thousands. Okay? That's not sugarcoated, guys. It's not no small amount. Okay? I'm sorry. I've been here too long. It's not a small amount. He said it's sad that these countries are so poor that the women have to go to these foreigners just looking for a better life. I feel for these young women. I pray for them. Well, pray for yourself, Yvonne. You're always on my channel with this foolishness. I don't know if you're a woman or a man. Pray for yourself because you're getting dicked down over in America. You probably got children by 1 or 2 men over there. Pray for your damn self. Get off my channel with that foolishness. You always got something to say. Show your face. Getting over here like you holier than thou. Knowing good and well you getting dicked down. You getting your back blown out. Probably got 2 or 3 baby daddies over there. But now you got something to say about the situation over here. I'm living here. That's why I brought it up. We should talk about it more. We talk about the sexual aspect of it, but we don't talk about the flip side, the consequences. Yeah. Talk to your favorite vlogger about that the next time she's talking about that stuff. Where to meet the finest Philippines, the best place to meet Philippines. Should you date an old one? Should you date a young one? Yeah, but you don't talk about the consequences of that stuff. You take for granted that you know us. See, that's why I tell y'all, don't take no advice from these women over here because they don't know what they're talking about. They're not going to tell you the truth. They're not going to give you a whole story. Okay, I had to basically reinvent my channel because they was hating on me. I could tell you the nitty gritty in a way that was still respectful, but they didn't want it coming from me. So I had basically reinvented my channel. I can't even talk about the stuff that I really want to talk about because it's a double standard. Okay? But I can still do enough. I can talk about stuff like this that they won't talk about. Hey, Young Fresh Global Trial, we said a lot of these situations involve men from Australia and Europe and America. These are called Amerasians, guys. Stop sugarcoating this. Okay, he said, look at the pageant scene and the standard of beauty in the background of most winners clearly reflect that European-Filipino mix. Yeah, but, okay, we're not talking about a race. We're not saying black. That's why, the guy was like, oh, look at your thumbnail. That's my daughter, fool. Okay? Booby's graduation, which, congratulations, Booby. Okay, I was shocked. I'm supposed to be up there with her. I'm amazed. I'm back there taking the camera. She done won valedictorian, best in this, best, certain awards and all that. That's what I'm doing here. Okay? But that's my daughter. It's not, he took it as if to say, only black men are doing it. No. It runs the gamut, guys. Every race, creed, color is doing it over here. Okay? But don't know Australia and Europe. That's foolishness. That's why they called it Amerasians. Tens of thousands, Young Fresh Global Travel. He said, you think it's impacting Thailand more than the Philippines or vice versa? Really the same, guys. But Vietnam, because of the circumstances, we went to war, we killed all those people over there. I guess it was, I don't know, a guilt factor or something. Whatever it was, they called it a humanitarian effort. We righted that wrong. But it's the same thing happening in Thailand. Okay, same thing happening in Vietnam, Philippines, Cambodia. No, this is what I'm already saying. Did you watch the video, Q? Are you on here with this foolishness today? I already said it takes 2 to tango. I said that those were my exact words on the video. I'm not putting all the responsibility on the man, but it's the man's responsibility to get the citizenship. He said these women need to demand guys to wrap up. Not every foreigners are the same. Some will leave their ass after getting off. Well, that's what Richie Rich is saying. We're not all the same. Everybody knows we're not the same. But we're doing the same shit. Some people are just fortunate that they're not getting a woman pregnant. But when we talk about this stuff, guys want to push back. You're pushing back. Okay. Didn't I say the women need to take responsibility too? But you know the situation over here. Just like the first day you came over here, you got off on your wife. Let's be honest about it. The first day you met her in the hotel room, y'all was doing it. Okay, the unspoken agreement in action. What's up, Cisco? But you one of the good guys, Q. Okay, yeah, you one of the good guys. He says people are crashing out, acting like sex is the only thing on earth. Say this again, because it happened all during the lockdown. Sex became such a vital necessity for people. I mean, it's the equation. It's the question and the answer. He said there's a lot more other important things happening. Yeah, but see, sex is only just a small part of the problem. Okay, because what you got? The experts say you got 3 to 5 minutes of fame, and you're done anyway. Okay. Maryland's happy about it. What do you mean? He says, how does Maryland feel about you giving Booby her papers? When Booby gets 18, she can petition Maryland over there. And Booby's going to start getting that check pretty soon. Booby will be the breadwinner. Because once my other 2 sons fall off, Booby will be getting it all. Not me. It's going to Maryland. But that's the right thing to do. Yeah, this is what everybody say. This is what everybody says. He says, I hate that people think that. I like the Philippines for the prices and the peace. I have no problem getting women stateside. Some people just enjoy Southeast Asia. That's right. We're not saying that you don't, but you're blowing out somebody's box over here. Okay? Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's not what I think, Rich. It's what's here. It says, because I asked the question, is there an estimate of how many babies born out of wedlock to Filipinos and Americans who don't receive citizenship? It says there's no single reliable count of how many children born to Filipino mothers and U.S. fathers, often called Amerasians, who fail to receive their U.S. citizenship. But they're guessing tens of thousands. One estimate is from 20,000 to 50,000 that are just left over here, Rich, thrown into the garbage, and you think it's not continuing to happen? We're more reckless than the servicemen. Okay? Yeah, he said, maybe I'm just naive and giving our men too much credit. Not the ones who come here. Look, guys, I'm going to say this again. I've said it so many times. There's a different type of expat who comes to Southeast Asia. Okay? You heard the John Augustus. You heard Dion Bryant. Sex is up here. Sex is number one. The reason they coming. A lot of them are irresponsible. Okay, they were irresponsible at home. Like Blizzard Brown said, they're not even taking care of their kids at home. And they're coming over here. They got the memo. Whenever the path to least resistance is like it is here, you're going to get all types over here. But you get a lot of the guys like me, like you, Q, and different ones, and you seem to think, oh, it's not that bad. No. Some woman's pregnant right now. Okay, you remember, look, guys, y'all think either y'all got short memories or you just don't, are you still in denial? Remember last year when Paul Old Dog New Tricks was interviewing that deaf girl down in Dumaguete? The foreigner got her pregnant, ran off, and was giving the girl 2,000 pesos a month. I'm not the only one that watched that video. That happens all the time over here. But y'all don't want to talk about it. You don't want to bring it up. People get uncomfortable. I don't give a damn. Real life stuff people get uncomfortable about. They don't want to talk about it. Left that little girl, 20 years old. It's some rotten ass men that come over here. I meet them. I see them all the time. Okay? But then, when you bring it up in a discussion, we're in denial. That's some rotten ass fools over here. Okay? I'm not so disrespectful. You're the one disrespectful. You've been all in my comments for years with this foolishness. You lucky I ain't got rid of you. You don't even have a picture. I don't know who you are. Nobody disrespectful. You disrespectful. You want me to paste some of your stupid ass comments on here to show you who's disrespectful? Lady, go sit down somewhere. You're not dealing with one of these other fools. That's why you over here. He says, I've met many 30-plus-year-old Almarasians in Angeles City. But those was the good old days. This is what we're going to talk about later. Those are the good old days, but we're talking about now. Yeah, now. It's so many of them. What's up, Harry? And guys don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. Hey, Clyde, what's up? He said, thank you, Cal, for being a powerful example. Not all will see it, but some will because you getting the word out. That's all. I'm not placing myself on some pedestal or anything. I don't want to be pat on the back. I'm supposed to do that. I came over here and jumped into bed and had children. So guess what? Once I found out there was a process, I immediately got on it. I did what I had to do. Okay? I'm just saying that we never talk about it, Clyde. How many videos in the last year, other than Leah and Blair, the slog, they got a slog, they call it. They find the fathers, okay? But that's a great thing that they're doing, but that's it. They don't talk about the irresponsibility that brings those cases about. They just say, oh, they haven't seen the father in 50-something years. The man knows he's got a baby over here. And then they show up, oh, they're so surprised. Like, oh, I got a baby. You know, man, you got a damn baby over here. I don't want to hear that shit. Hey, what's up? He said, checking in from Phnom Penh, Cambodia. Happy to catch this live. It's over there, too. Okay? Well, it's not about this. Okay, see, this is you joining the ranks. You got to get in line. It's so many other people who want to see me. Because y'all get offended. You think that you can push back against me, but I can't push back. I don't have a problem with you or nobody else. I'm just telling you, don't get in my comments with all the foolishness. I know you. YouTube keeps a history of comments. All I got to do is click on your profile. It'll show me every comment you made on my channel. You knew that, right? Yeah, you did. Ain't no you need to see me. I'm 62. Okay, all the drama, all the fighting is over. You fuck with me, you're going to get hurt. Ain't no you need to see me. Is that a threat? Get off my channel. We're trying to help each other. We're saying, bring some rubbers with you if you don't want to have children. Because they're not going to require it. He said, I saw a video about kids left behind in the Philippines. Apparently, they are really picked on as kids. Well, I'm not going to tell you what, I'm telling you what I've seen. Gail, I interviewed Gail, and I also interviewed Jenna Lynn. Jenna Lynn's father's from Guyana, and Gail's father's from the U.S. They both said they were bullied every single day in school. Their life was miserable over here. On top of all the other stuff they got to deal with. Okay? People want to fight them and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, they are picked on. They're stigmatized. He says, I'm 62, retired, collecting Social Security and a pension, and plan to fly back to the Philippines for good to be with my wife and daughter. And she owns, what, 2 businesses? Yeah, see, you're doing the right thing, but you are like me. Okay, I'm 62, get my Social Security. I was 57 when Booby was born. We think, oh, we can't have any children anymore. It's over. But these women are so fertile over here, guys. Okay? Because they're not taking all that old stuff that they're taking in the West. It's against their religion. They're very conservative. But in their minds, they're giving us far too much credit. They're like Richie Rich. They're giving us too much credit that we deserve. Okay? The men who are coming over here, man, are some of the most reckless, ornery human beings I've ever seen. All you got to do is come over here. You'll see. Go to Dumagetti and go to that little club, that new little bar right there. It's full of the people. What's it called, Capone's or something? It's full of these clowns. He said, I'm not going to lie, Unc, I got a raw issue. I despise rubbers, and I know I need to check it before I come to the Philippines or DR later on the year. Men are suffering in the matrix. Okay, but what's that got to do with it? Okay, I'm not even saying put on a rubber. I'm saying if you're going to do it and you have a child, take care of them. Okay? But let's get on to something else. Because, yeah, I touched the nerve with these guys. Because they know they're doing it. And a lot of them out there are guilty, but then a lot of them know that they're over here going in there raw, giving cream pies away. And they don't really know. They don't even know. They go back, assume their lives in America, not even realizing they've left a seed behind. They done blocked a woman, just like Gail's father. And then Gail's mother showed up. She's 8 months pregnant to the base. This fool left the next day. Hey, what's up, Angelo? I know you getting your girlfriend settled in. He said if you don't like rubbers, you need to love children. Yeah. But the excuse is I'm too old. Okay, my sperm count is low. I had it checked before I left. Guys, that's no excuse. But let's talk about the good old days. Thank you, Cisco. I already said this. He said, children are the least of your worries if you don't use a rubber. Okay, you got information out here that says, oh, there's an AIDS epidemic over here in the Philippines. Okay, it's growing faster than any other part of Southeast Asia, even Asia. That don't stop us because as Americans, I don't know, we're just cut from a different cloth. This entitlement, it's like, oh, it's not going to happen to me. The rules don't apply to me like that, right? They tell you don't go down in Mindanao, don't live down there. Okay, don't go to Colombia. It's got a level 3 travel advisory, all of Colombia. And certain parts of Mexico, it doesn't matter to us. We're going to do it anyway. Hey, Mr. Sandman. What's up, Michael Alexander? Is this Michael Alexander got a hat on now. Is this the same Michael Alexander? But we think that it don't apply to us anymore. Nothing applies to Americans. We're exempt from everything. Okay? I mean, guys will come over here and move straight to Mindanao, thinking they know more than the government. You know, you couldn't pay me to be down there right now. And I love Mindanao. I stayed down there for a long time. But you can pay me to be down there now. Not with everything that's going on over there in the Middle East. And it's getting ready to crank up even more. They talking about boots on the ground. Shit. You better have your head on a damn swivel. 2 swivels. But they said the good old days are now. You know, we talk about the good old days as if it's some past event. A time long ago when if you're living and breathing right now and you're able to enjoy the day, it's the good old days, guys. That's why they call it the present. But we always look at it as some type of past time. No. The good old days are now. And remember I made the video yesterday and I was talking about is the golden era of travel in Southeast Asia ended? Absolutely not. Because guess what? Here's what Southeast Asia offers you that will never go out of style. Booty, beaches, and low cost of living. That'll never go out of style. Okay? It'll never go out of style. And then remember, it's all subjective. Who's the judge? But I tell you, I'm going to use Q's word, diabolical. It's diabolical when you see these bloggers talking about the Philippines, putting it down, but they're still here. Make that make sense to me. But it's just, who's the judge? Who's doing the talking? One man's trash is another man's treasure. But all these places over here got that, and that'll never go out of style. Okay? He says also in the DR. But are we surprised, though? Are we surprised? And we have to take responsibility. A lot of men are bringing that stuff over here. They probably, the boobies got it. A lot of people, I don't even think they're studying that. They're studying the fact that it's an epidemic over here, but how much of it is being brought from the outside? I wonder if they got a number of that. Because they're doing it. Well, you know, here's the thing. I've never had a problem in the Philippines, period. Certainly not Mindanao. I don't want to scare you. But the State Department, which knows a whole lot more about that situation, the security and all that than me, says Mindanao, all of it, is level 3. They're telling you reconsider your travel there. And then they've got level 4 in certain places. Marawi, you know, Tawi-Tawi, Bazilan, Holo Salu, around Maguindanao. Y'all need to do your research about some of these places. When you're going from Cagayan de Oro, say you're on a bus and you're going from Cagayan de Oro, you're in Cagayan de Oro, you're in Iligan City, you're right around that Marawi, you're right around what's the name of that? The place that has the highest, let me look this up, kidnap rate in the Philippines, because my ex-wife, her brother is stationed there. He's in the army. Let's see. I'll show you. But we don't even know that stuff. We all around it. But we think we know more than the government officials. Okay. Wait. It's called, Lanao del Sur. Lanao. Del Sur. He says, man, the peso's at 66.76. It will hit 61. Yeah. Hell, it's already over 80 something now with the British pound. Yeah, I shout out Blizzard Abroad. I already did. He said, Cal, can you shout out Blizzard Abroad? He's back from Japan and back on the ground. Yeah, I already shouted Blizzard Abroad out, man. I always shout Blizzard Abroad out. I just be glad when we get that copyright because that song he wrote, created, is just unbelievable. Yeah, Blizzard Abroad, man, he's the real deal. You asked me has my cost of living increased? Not yet, but it's going to. It's still pre-conflict, except for the gasoline, but it's getting ready to just explode. It's getting ready to explode. Yeah, he said pounds are expensive. I spent a small fortune in Scotland last year. Yeah, even when I went to England in 1983, it was $1.60 for every pound. So shit was expensive, man, in London. I mean, it really was. He said a lot of men on YouTube are old. They seem to be using women to get a nursing home services at bargain prices. In America, they need $5,000 a month to get a caregiver. In the Philippines, they get it for $1,000. Yeah, or less. And this is true. You know, but that's not illegal. And you know what we do to old things in America, Josh? We throw them away or we replace them. If they would just treat us better, maybe we wouldn't have to come to the Philippines. Okay? But a lot of the guys over here, they're living their best lives when, if they were in America, they'd be in some type of nursing home or something like that. You know what I mean? It's a shame. He says, I'm receiving about $300,000 a month. I'll be able to live like a god there. Well, if these prices keep going up over here, it's already, I was sent a picture, a photo over in Surigao. It's 107 for regular gasoline. The lowest was 102. Yeah, he said, yeah, that's worse, Cal. 135 when I was in the UK. Yeah, I was way back. It was 83. And I was like, man, my little salary held back then. I was getting either $550 a month or $575. I can't remember whether I was E2 or E3 then when we went to London, Portsmouth, England, and I took the tour to London. But yeah, man, it was kicking our behinds with that rate. Hey, Q, thanks for that super sticker. He said, live long enough, she becomes your caregiver. Yes, that's a great point, Raymond. He says, I'll be in a beautiful country on the Philippines April 17th to June 3rd. I can't wait to grab me a cold red horse with bangus, with King Kong and garlic rice. Yeah, man, let's hope that this war, man, settles down, guys. That's why, look, I'm thinking positive. What? I'm thinking positive. We're going ahead and we're getting the kids their passports. We're going ahead and making our reservations for Vietnam. We're going back to Vietnam because the pressure from the rest of the world is going to stop this war, guys. This is the way I'm looking at it. Because if it keeps going, it's going to be the economy are going to collapse worldwide. Imagine trying to sustain $150 to $200 per barrel oil for 6 months. It'll be a worldwide economic collapse. You wouldn't be able to do it. The pressure, they're going to put big pressure on America and Israel to get the hell out of there and leave those people alone. You coming up with a strategy to open up the Strait of Hormuz. Fool, it was open before you start dropping those bombs. I don't want to talk about it, guys, but yeah, I'm saying that. No, that was Harry Shoulders that said this. I'm looking on the bright side. It's going in, man. Otherwise, that they got it's going to eat up that 300,000 over here. He said in '83 I was in E1, 580 a month. Yeah, so it must have been a little bit more, but I know uh, it wasn't much. It wasn't much. Although I bought me a couple of nice shirts. I remember that. And when we went to Brazil, I bought a nice 18 karat gold with a cross on it with, Jesus on the cross. All 18 karat. I gave it to my mother. She had it all the way till she died. I don't know what happened to it. He said, I agree. Many global leaders are going to pressure Iran to chill the F out. No, not Iran. America, man. Y'all act like Iran started this. They're defending themselves. I can't drink that poison, young fresh global travel. Those people minding their own business. They got us thinking that they're the bad guys. No. You taking your attention from Gaza and Lebanon. Look what they're doing in Lebanon. I was over there, man. I received, the whole ship received the Presidential Accommodation Medal. We set out off the coast of Lebanon for 73 days when Israel had invaded them in 1982. Ronald Reagan was like, no, y'all committing a genocide. We're out of here. That's what he said. Okay? And guess what? The minute the United States pulled out of there, Israel did, because we've got their back. They're a proxy for us. They're talking about the Houthis and Hamas and Hezbollah being proxies of Iran. Man, this is propaganda, guys. Israel is a proxy for America. Without America, Israel would sit their ass down. Come on, guys. He says, funny with all the stuff going on. I asked my Filipino mother-in-law if she wants to go back to the Philippines now from South Korea. And she said, not right now, because she's smart. I wouldn't do any kind of traveling right now. That's just me. Okay. He said, what happened to Harry Shoulders anyway? Well, he's Robert Dame again. That's his alter ego. It's Harry Shoulders. He said, I'm surprised the Philippines hasn't tried the solar panel and wind turbine thing. Well, they do have solar power. Right up the street from us is one of the biggest solar farms in the Philippines that's producing energy. But it goes to the power company. It benefits them. I don't even know if it benefits us. But yeah, one of the biggest in the Philippines is right up the street from me. He said both Trump and Netanyahu are idiots. They're war criminals. Okay. When you little, you can't discern and, read between the lines when you're watching the news. It's so bad now that over in the West that the news is propaganda. It's all fake news. That's the only thing I can agree with Trump. And because he knows it's all fake. Okay? If Iran would have dropped bombs on America and killed Trump, they would have been labeled terrorists, guys. But when America does it to Iran, they're considered liberators. This is bullshit, man. It happens over and over and over, and y'all buying it. Dave Smith said it. He said Israel is the biggest terrorist in the region. America's the biggest terrorist in the world. It's true. I'm sorry. There's Harry Shoulders. Yeah, Mr. Sand guy. Yeah, he says, but we're not going to get into this, but I saw it. He said, Uncle, did you see that the U.S. voted against recognizing slavery as the world's gravest crime? Are you surprised? But let's keep going. Let's don't get into that. He said, Cal, I know you don't talk too much about Philippine politics, but what's going on with the vice president? I don't know. I don't even, pay attention to that. But I will say this: my money's on Sarah Duterte to be the next president over here. Okay, I don't know this. I don't know this. He says, why doesn't the Philippines allow foreigners to own land legally? What are the reasons? Well, I don't really know, but I know that they've been colonized by the Spanish for 350 years, and America another 50 years, where they were subjected to brutal oppression. They were considered second-class citizens in their own country. Filipinos aren't stupid; they're smart. They're saying, okay, now that we got our liberation, you'll never be able to own our land again. Okay? But I guess you could. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not going to practice Philippine law without a license. I was told that, if you get a trust or a corporation, there's ways to do it. Okay, he said most countries allow foreigners to buy land and pay taxes. Yeah, but most countries haven't been through what the Philippines has been through. They even look at us as the liberators. They don't realize that on December the 8th, 1941, when the Japanese invaded the Philippines was under the brutal oppression of America. And they didn't get their freedom until 1946. Okay? He said most countries do not allow foreigners to own land without marriage or corporation. Yeah, I'm not going to practice law, though. Yeah, I mean, they're not stupid. Imagine 350 years you colonized, you treated so bad. And so now you would want to allow foreigners to come in now and buy up all your land. I'm sorry, that's not going to happen over here. I don't blame them. I don't blame them. Some people learn. What's up, Jews? He said, you right, big bro. We buy their propaganda hook, line, and sinker. We do. I mean, but because we don't think for ourselves, I mean, it's just simple common sense. You think if you turn that around, and who determines who the bad guys are and who the good guys are? If you look at our history and you deem us the good guys, you don't know what a damn good guy is. Yeah, Blizzard's there. I wish more people would support him. He got good topics. Yeah, show some support. But the last point I was making, complaining and still here, is diabolical. I'm using Q's word. You got vloggers talking damn bad about the Philippines, but they still here because they know they're welcome here. You can say what you want about the Philippines, but you basically safe and sound over here. Okay? You can do a whole lot of stuff as a foreigner and get away with it. One thing is you can sit there and talk about them and still have still go to immigration and get your visa extended. But I'm saying if it's so bad, why are you here? See, when you talk negative over and over and over about a place, you lose all credibility eventually, guys. Because now you can't go back and talk about the positives of the place. Okay, and remember the guys who are talking crazy about the Philippines, when you remember this, because y'all not paying attention. They have no woman or girlfriend, no property, nothing. They're just circling the Philippines. Okay, they haven't accomplished anything. It's like, why would you like it here? Well, hell, it's no different than in America. How many female presidents have we had in America, John Augustus? Women were second-class citizens until the Civil Rights Act basically freed them up. You guys, y'all buy the propaganda, man. Come on. And then that's culture. Who's to say what we're doing in America is the right thing? We're only 4% of the population, John Augustus. So when you leave America, this is how crazy we think. We think everything's supposed to be the way it is in America. Only 4 to 4.5% of the population, sir. You guys are crazy. Yeah, but he's got a lot more balls than me. Okay? I'm sorry. He got a lot more balls than me. He did that bungee jump. I didn't even think that they even did that anymore. Hey, thanks, Cisco. But yeah, we're only 4% of the population. See, we can be this right here. We can be this. Let me read it first. He says, I'm a proud American, but our leaders lied to our face. I'm going to start right there first of all. You can be a proud American. See, the patriots are the people who are unpatriotic are the ones who's doing stuff to destroy the country. Okay? It's not the people who demand better from America. People who speak out on the injustice and stuff like that, you would call us unpatriotic. He said, Hesself said 2 weeks ago that 90% of Iran's ballistic missile capabilities were destroyed and steadily declining. They're still launching today. Yeah, well, they said the nuclear program. They moving it around. Trump said we obliterated it, okay, in the 12-day war. And then that was the reason that they supposed to have been over here, to make sure that Iran would never have a nuclear weapon. Now it went from that to liberating the Iranian people, knowing you don't give a damn about the Iranian people. Now let's get rid of all their ballistic missiles and roadside bombs. Why? There's no boots on the ground. Okay, now if you listen to Fox, I was listening to him today. You got to listen to both sides to see how crazy it is. They're saying, oh, we got to get our hands on that 460, whatever it is, what is it, kilos or something of uranium. Because they said, in the wrong hands within a week. This is Fox telling y'all this. Within a week, it can be created to a bomb. But I thought y'all said that all of their nuclear ambitions was obliterated. So how can it get in the wrong hands and be converted to a nuclear bomb in 1 week, man? Y'all buying this stuff. He says, what's up, 53 Shades? Man, we were going to take a trip to Bohol. We were going to come to Cebu first, but it hit me, man. It's Holy Week. Guys, don't travel during Holy Week. Wherever you are, stay put, man. And don't say I didn't warn you. I had some friends that were coming from Cebu yesterday that said they're standing up the whole time on the bus. This whole week, I wouldn't go anywhere from Monday through Sunday. But he says, and vloggers living outside the Philippines talking shit and come every year to vacation. The hypocrisy is real. Yeah, I don't get it. We were raised better than that, 53 Shades Darker. Like I said, the thing that makes the Philippines what it is will never go out of style. Okay? No one will ever get tired of warm weather. Tropical weather, man. The people really are hospitable here. They don't bother you. Okay? The minute you get off the plane, you're going to know how Filipinos feel about you. I can't say that everywhere I've been. I didn't know how Vietnamese felt about me. Some people smiled and everything. You're going to know right away. Filipinos are warm and they're welcoming. I ain't know, same when I got to Thailand. As a matter of fact, I ain't going to lie to you. But I wasn't there long in these places. But you don't have to be there long. The first day you get off the plane in the Philippines, you're going to know, guys. That's what puts the Philippines up here. I want to be somewhere where I'm accepted. Okay, well, I'm welcome. All that other stuff, man, can take care of itself. He said, Canada's being ruined by liberal immigration. Canada isn't the same anymore. A big part of my reasoning to prepare myself for a move to the Philippines. I really hope it's still welcomed by the time. Well, really, it will be. All the stuff that the Philippines has been through, and they're still welcoming. The fact that Americans are here and welcome the way we are will let you know that's a compliment to the Filipino people. A lot of them just don't really know the history for real. He said, salute, Cal. Gatekeeper, spreading knowledge you earned in your own boots and supporting us other YouTubers. Respect, bro. Well, we're a community, Cisco. I've always preached that. One of the things that shocks me the most is other YouTubers shitting on other YouTubers. Okay? For whatever reason. I mean, this really is a small community. Okay? I wouldn't have the nerve to talk down on another YouTuber unless I'm looking for trouble. It's too small. Eventually, you're going to see them somewhere. Okay? But it just don't make sense. You can't sustain a successful YouTube channel talking down on people. That fat grandpa is a different situation because he got a lot of losers over here and abroad who think like him. Remember I told you on the video, if I talked about negative stuff, I've got a whole audience. There's a whole audience for that. They're losers, man. The people who come here are not the losers. It's the people in the comments. You see some of these fools, man, you'll be like, man, I'm glad this ain't my father. But it don't matter. These guys ain't going to do nothing. You know what shocked me? I was looking, because I was like, okay, all this Israeli influence on American politics, and we know who's taking the money. So I said, well, let me look in the past. Who else took money? Hell, Biden took just as much money from AIPAC and those pro-Israeli lobbyists as Trump did. Obama, Clinton. They all do, man. Our government has been hijacked, but the people don't even know it. That's the reason we're in Iran right now. Okay? That's the reason they're sending our sons and daughters to die over there. Israelis are not going to go boots on the ground. Okay, I'm sorry, but they're not. Hey, D-Cell, thanks for that super chase. Said Trump and Hexel are lying garbage in America's one big psyop. Look, I'm going to tell you right now, if they wasn't all in cahoots, Bush would be in prison right now. And his whole administration, because Obama promised it. Remember, he's running on that. I'm going to make people accountable. I'm going to hold them accountable. This ain't the old U.S. anymore. If it's found out that they committed war crime, well, Bush is already wanted by the ICC, Obama. We're waiting for you to prosecute him. Trump and all his administration will be prosecuted, but they're not. It's not going to happen unless it's something outside the administration, like charges, state charges, or something like that. He says, what is Harry Shoulder saying? Hey, Sam, what's up? He said, gas prices are surging new profiles on DIA. I tell you what, if this war don't end next month, it's going to be bad, man. They already talking about civil unrest. People are tired of this shit, man. A friend of mine, well, hell, he might be listening now. Life Without Limits. Mario, he's from, the gas is $6 in Nashville, Tennessee. He said, quick wave and hello from Japan on port day in Kumamoto on their cruise. Shout out to the 8,000 milers in the building. Hey, TJ. I know Beach of Life is still there. I think he's got one more day over there, right? He said Colonel Douglas McGregor is a gift to America. Well, he's telling the truth. They don't want to hear that. You know, everybody tells the truth, they're going to label you an anti-Semite. They're going to wear that out, man. It's like a racist. You know, pretty soon you're going to be like, man, you don't wear it out. It's not even going to mean anything. He said, damn it, Cal, why didn't you warn me, bro? We're in Cebu now and it's really crowded here. But thank God we didn't actually go to Vietnam. You know, look, Rich, I ain't going to lie, I forgot. Maryland reminded me. Because we're supposed to be leaving Wednesday. And she was like, yeah, it's Holy Week. And I was like, cancel everything. I was getting ready to push sin on the Airbnb. We had it all locked up. I learned my lesson, man. I'm talking about, y'all don't understand how crowded it gets when everybody's either going home, okay, during the Holy Week. So everything, the ferries, the bus station, the airplane, the airports, everything is just crazy crowded. Yeah, it's no joke, man. I wouldn't do it. I did it before. It's a guy was mad at me, okay? He got married during Holy Week. And me and Merlin, okay, we wasn't able to make it. Because, of the travel and everything. And I gave him, enough time ahead of time to say, man, I'm not going to be able to make your wedding. Well, we fell out over that. Come on, guys. Yeah, we don't need this clown. He ain't going to do nothing anyway. He ain't going to do nothing. Trust me. Look, guys. Y'all need to start running over there. Is this the best that we got? Is this fool? Jesse Ventura? J.D. Vance? Marco Rubio? You tell me that's the best we got to offer in America. It's not. It's not, guys. He said the Israeli government already confirmed they would not be joining the U.S. ground troops. Well, why are we over there anyway? Because of them. We have no interest to be over there. They don't have any missiles that can reach American soil. Okay? Now they're talking about once they get rid of Iran out of the way, they're looking at Turkey because of this greater Israel project, guys. This is white supremacy. I'm not talking about racism. We're talking about white supremacy. Those people, that's not the Israel that they're talking about in the Bible. The guy, I forgot his name, let's see. He made a great point about that. He was like, the Israel that was created in 1948, now they're telling the people this is the same Israel they're talking about in the Bible. He said that would be like naming my child Jesus Christ and telling everybody, you got to follow my son because that's what it says in the Bible. But we're so stupid, man. Those people are the same people who took over Canada, who took over America, who took over Australia. Those same Europeans. And now they want to expand. It ain't enough that God gave them that land. They want more. He says, my wife is en route to Philippines now. I'm going to join her. What is that? In a few weeks. I hope the fuel situation won't keep us from visiting Iloilo City. Boy, I tell you, once that jet fuel hits, the fact, look, guys, that they would even bring it up about grounding troops should give you pause. But we don't believe shit stinks. Oh, it ain't gonna happen. Why would they even bring that up if it wasn't a possibility? Imagine you get all the way over here, Uncle Mo, and they ground flights. You can't get back as long as they fighting over there. Qatar has gotten out of the war. They're out because they know that the United States didn't have a plan for Iran. Guys, we're talking about fighting Iran, a whole country of 92 million people. This isn't Venezuela, guys. We don't realize what we've gotten into. We can't win that war. And even if we do, what are we going to win? Look at how many of our soldiers are going to die over there. Look how many have died already. Y'all talk about it like it's a basketball game. You know, the March Madness, which has been some great games. Yeah, there's nothing going to happen. It took me a while, man, because I used to, my mother told me a long time ago. I guess I was about 10 years old. She said, it doesn't matter who the president is, you better have your shit together. And that was her language. And it's the truth because neither one of them care about us, guys. They all in it together. I promise you they are. They're in it together. The only good thing that's going to come out in midterms is maybe they'll get rid of Trump. Which ain't going to, make a difference. You know. He said we hit our peak with intelligent, competent presidents with Barack Obama. But remember, guys, these presidents aren't running anything. He was a good face, but he took just as much money from these pro-Israeli lobbyists as any other president, over 100 million. I mean, you're not going to get in that Oval Office without kissing Israel's ring, without kissing their ass. He's no different, guys. Your life should be better if he was going to do everything he said he's going to do. They're all in it together, man, these politicians. They're for themselves. And they cronies. They don't care about the regular man. I mean, don't buy that stuff. They fooled me the first time with Obama. I didn't vote for him the second time. I saw right through his shit. Okay, I'm sorry. I saw through it. He ain't no different than the rest of them. He says, when we get a chance to get a fighter like Jasmine Crockett that tells the truth, well, here's the thing, guys. They're only talking. We need more than just talk. Okay? Nobody's getting in the way of Trump. Don't you realize that he started a war without congressional approval? The Senate is nothing. It's spineless. Our Constitution has been ripped up and flushed down the toilet. And nobody's talking about that. We don't need people like her, man. I told y'all a long time ago she was full of shit, man. All they're doing is talking. Cory Booker, Apoc Shakura, they call Jeffries. These guys ain't doing nothing but talking. They're not doing nothing. If that vote comes up for that $200 billion for that war, they're all going to sign off on it. Where are they? Speaking out against Israel and what Israel is doing and all that. They're not going to do it because they're in Israel's pocket. Even though Jasmine Crockett didn't take a whole lot of money from Israel and those Israeli lobbyists, she didn't vote against their interests. We need that whole system scrapped. I told y'all, everybody from my councilman, all the city council in Louisville, Kentucky, all the way up to the presidency, needs to be removed. And that system needs to be blown up and rebuilt. Guys, it doesn't make a difference who's in that office. They're bought and paid for. But you can't tell people nothing. They don't believe it. But these guys ain't going to do nothing. Whoever this is gets in there. He said, our life was better with Obama. Bullshit. It wasn't. It wasn't better. That's all subjective. That's all that is. So yeah, you're right. Because that's all subjective. Everything is. Okay? If I wanted to do, remember, it doesn't matter who the president is. You better have your shit together, because I hit my stride when Bush was the president. When all that Medicare Advantage and Medicare prescription drug plan stuff was approved, the Medicare Modernization Act, Obama didn't sign that into law. Bush did. That's when I earned all my money. But I can't give the credit to Bush. I was out there hitting the sidewalk, knocking on the doors, picking up the phone, making the calls, educating people about this new prescription drug plan and Medicare Advantage plans. Okay? But it's all subjective, guys. Yeah, thank you. Say this right here. For Israel. Thank you for bringing this up, because I always forget to bring this up, guys. He knew what his assignment was when he got in there. Okay? Read what he's saying. No, it wasn't better. In your words, maybe it was. I don't care who the president is. Just imagine, Trump is the president. This imbecile, this orange-faced imbecile, and I'm still living my best life. What legislation has he passed that benefits me? Where I can just kick back and say, I'm not a billionaire. I'm not a millionaire. I'm not in the Epstein class. So nothing any of them does is going to directly affect me. I need to be paying attention to my local government. So no, Obama ain't done shit for me, but fooled my ass. Yeah, that's what I said. But let's get back to this. You know, because that's all subjective, guys. But what are we talking about anyway when we're talking about the good old days? Is it when your bank account was on swole? What, the golden era of dating apps? What are we talking about? The cost of living? We always look at the golden age and the good old days as some pastime. It's just like Q said, technically speaking, any day above ground is a golden era. This is what I was saying yesterday. Hey, what's up, Raymond? He's living his best life. He said, what's up, Cal? Me and you don't put trust in one man. We had to get a profile and go to work. That's right. He said, definitely subjective, but to me, President Biden was the best president of our lifetime, all things considered, and what he had to deal with coming into office with America's initial bad response to COVID-19. Yeah, like I said, all of that is subjective, and we can look at all of that, but when you look at Biden, man, Biden, he did his job. You know, he knew the assignment. He took all that money from them. He's the one that said, if there wasn't an Israel, we'd have to invent one. You know, he's the one that was with this crime act, you know, that was so tough on black families, you know, back when he was a senator and all that. See, he's just sitting in that Oval Office. What is this guy? Look, this guy, I'm going to read it. He said, Joe Kent, a former Green Beret with 5 Bronze Stars. He just resigned from Trump due to outside influence on foreign policy decisions. Perfect. Okay. One guy got a conscience. He couldn't be bought. He's already lost his wife with this foolishness. Okay, a suicide bomber. And he's sitting there watching all this stuff. Man, and he said, look, I'm done with it. Now they're trying to crucify him. The Israeli lobby's coming after him. The press is coming after him because they controlled by that. Okay? He came out and told the truth. Okay, but when you got one man against a machine, the man has lost his wife and everything. It shows you how we got some evil people in our government, man. They sit around and they co-sign that stuff. Trump was going to sleep in the damn Oval in his cabinet meeting. You know. But anyway, he said, come on, Cal, I can say during President Clinton, black people were making good money. What black people? Okay. I mean, like I said, if it's all subjective, then why are you saying, come on, Cal? I don't have a perspective. I don't have an opinion. I agree with you. If you want to think that, black people were making good money. You don't even know what Clinton did. He's saying that law into, that what you talking about, he's so good. He signed that legislation into law that destroyed a lot of black people, put a lot of black people in prison for the rest of their lives for nonviolent crimes. Okay, do some history before you talk about he played a saxophone on, what's the guy's name? Arsenio Hall. All them guys are crooks, man. You can't give me, I don't like none of them. I'm sorry. Okay. Remember, my mother had a 9th grade education. If you guys aren't smarter than my mother, I'm sorry, she had more common sense than a PhD, than a doctor. She said she don't care who the president is. You better have your shit together, Aunt Wilson. Them guys ain't went to work for you. No matter who's sitting in that Oval Office, you better put your pants on and your big black boots and get the fuck to work. Okay, and pay your taxes. And shut the fuck up. That's what they telling you. Y'all come out here with that foolishness. Tell me he made your life better. He made your life better. You made your life better. You ain't no billionaire. When Trump speaks, your stocks don't go up and down. You probably ain't got a damn stock. Your money's in that 401. You got somebody else running it for you. His cronies are getting rich. See all that money that they bet on the oil futures and stuff. 20 minutes before he put that pause on. You ain't a part of that. And neither am I. President ain't gonna save your ass. We play that old personality stuff. Oh, you like Clinton. Oh, he was really the first black president. Bullshit. Clinton ain't done shit for you. Raping them young girls, what he did. They trying to protect him. Biden said on them damn, now push back against that, Aunt Wilson. Biden said on the Epstein files. We know why Trump sat on them. But why did Biden sit on them? And Kamala Harris. Why did they sit on the Epstein file? Talk to me. Okay? You want to talk about, oh, this president is better. They working together. Okay? You know, all I'm saying is, you know, this guy right here knows his shit. Trust me. But I'm just saying, somebody answer that. He said, I like Clinton. He probably was our smartest president, but that crime bill and changing welfare as we knew it devastated urban communities. Crack was sentenced differently from powder cocaine. But nobody wants to look. Remember, we got selective memories. Most people only remember the good things about these presidents. Okay? I'm sorry. Yeah, he could. Yeah, he could. He could have did the same thing that the people are trying to do now. What's the difference between Trump releasing them or having them release Congress and Biden? Come on, guys. Don't make up for these guys, Cisco. They all in it together. Talking about Biden could not legally release Epstein by law. Yes, he could. He could have did the same thing, got the same power that Trump's got. If he would have pushed forward, he could have done it. Y'all making excuses for these people. They in it together. Because some of their friends and colleagues is in there. That's what y'all be tripping, man, okay? Here's what I don't like about Americans in general. We take up for these rich and crooked people, but then you want to keep your foot on the neck of the regular ordinary man. You won't let me get away with nothing. Y'all kiss these rich men's asses who don't give a damn about you, who don't know you, whose policies go against your best interest, and y'all take up for them. Fuck out of here with that stuff. Ain't none of them cocksuckers living in that old office took care of you. You put on your pants for all them years and went to work. They never lowered your damn taxes. They never lowered your damn taxes. What's up, Beat the Life? Did you see TJ? He said, get out of here with that bullshit. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. T-shirt quotes. Yeah. No, I'm just saying, though. If he wanted them released, Cisco, he could release them. Somebody could have released them. I mean, but the thing is, you never even heard about them until Trump got in there. Okay? As a matter of fact, Mega was the one who bought it up. They wanted to release them. Make that make sense to me. You hadn't even heard of the Epstein files while Biden was in office. They hadn't shit. Hey, D-Cells, thanks for that super chat. He said Biden was forcing vaccines on people in COVID, pushing vaccine cards. You ain't black if you don't vote for me. Yeah, them are Republican. All are corrupt. All are pushing a digital surveillance prison now. We already know this. This is what I'm saying. But for some reason, we think, because my mother's a Democrat, my father's a Democrat, I got to be a Democrat. So I'm going to fight for these no good, corrupt individuals. No matter what their agenda is, we don't even know their agenda. Just because they're a Democrat, we're going to fight for them. Yeah, to say this, man. He says, I agree there. Folks will defend rich people all day. If you start counting their money, people say, man, your business, but will tell working class folks what to do all day. This is what amazes me about American people, because we're being led around by our nose. We can't think for ourselves. If you get $5 more extra on food stamps, okay, they're coming for you. Somebody's going to pick up the phone and call the people on you. Okay, they're going to pocket watch you all day. Yeah, listen to this. These guys, man, are sharp. He said, after all Trump is done, I better not hear another Democrat president talking about not having the authority to do something. Thank you. He said, it doesn't matter who's in the office, Dem or Republicans. You better go out and get it yourself if you want it. Well, my mother told me that when I was 10. How many years ago was that? 52 years ago? She had a 9th grade education. She knew that. And these guys know it. But they just want to push back. I'm not supposed to speak out. I'm not supposed to have an opinion or a perspective. He said the only president that put money in my pocket was Bush too, and that's because of war. Been downhill since. Color don't make good leaders or competent leaders. Competence does. Thank you. But I'm not ever going to give anybody credit for what I went out and had to do. Okay, because they never gave me anything. That's why when people was like, oh, you always talking about America, you should be glad this and glad that. I don't owe America shit. Everything I got from over there, which, by the way, I had no choice in the matter where I was being born. Okay, I followed the law. I didn't violate the rights of my fellow man, and I worked my behind off. I earned everything that I got coming from over there. So put that shit away somewhere and talk to somebody else about it. Okay? Okay, I'm sorry. I don't owe America nothing. Everything I got, I earned it. All them guys, they always want to pocket watch you. You damn right, Booby's going to get my benefits. Because I paid for it. I worked for it. We're waiting for the appointment now. So all you guys out there watching my pocket, I'm going to take you through that process. Yeah, it ain't gonna make a difference, Raymond. You better, stay on your P's and Q's. Yeah. You're right. Say this, Juice. We just have a conversation, though, but they act like we're not supposed to talk about it. Well, who's supposed to talk about it? No, I wasn't given the opportunity. I had no say in the matter, John Augustus. If you want to be one of them robots and go, why do you think the American system is the way it is? If we would just sit back and be puppets and idiots like you, nothing would get done. The reason the Constitution is the way it is now because we pushed back against England and fought for our independence. What are we supposed to just sit back and let them run over top of us? That's your frame of mind. Okay, how you think they got the Civil Rights Act, the right for blacks to vote, the right for women to vote, and all that? Immigration and all that. They pushed back against the system, man. Don't come on here with that foolishness. You sound like a fool. It's because they were dissatisfied with the system. Okay? Imagine in my lifetime, when I was born, my mother and father couldn't vote. And if they did, they faced murder. Okay? Because of people like you, they're supposed to just sit back and say, oh, yeah, thank you, America, for bringing me over here and just lynching my parents and enslaving my ancestors. Okay? I'm supposed to be happy for that. And giving me Jesus and all that, right? Fuck off my channel with that foolishness, man. You a clown. Well, how you think all that stuff, why you think the unions and all that are operating in America? Because they were dissatisfied with the system. They didn't just sit back like you and be, oh, I'm happy just to have a job. Now they like, look, fool, you ain't gonna work me 100 hours a week. You gonna pay me overtime. We're gonna set the limit at 40 hours. There's a minimum wage. They did all of that, John Augustus. But you ignorant. A bunch of you guys are ignorant. You come on here. You don't even think before you talk. Okay? And the system is we're going to continuously push back against the system and, tweak it. Okay? Now, hey, D-Dale, welcome to the fourth quarter, man. Thanks for your support. I appreciate it. Okay, all right, no. I'm sorry. See, now you're calling me names. I don't give a damn. I own my own business for years. What are you saying? Okay? You still working. I'm retired from that same system over there. Yeah, you think I'm just going to sit back and take. He don't understand how America was built and still being built. That's why he's pushing back against Trump. We don't have a dictator. You ain't going to set the terms for everybody's life. But for people like him, cowards, probably never even served this country. And if he did, he ain't fought nobody. But let's get on to something else, because like Juice said, we ain't going to resolve it here. We don't know nothing about the foreign policy or nothing like that. Just keep going to work, John Augustus. Okay, and keep paying your taxes. That's all you doing. I'm supposed to just lay down and let the system run over top of me because, oh, I'm so happy to be in America. That's the way y'all think. Okay, that's the way y'all think. I'm sorry. Pick up a book and read it sometimes. I'm a boss of my own business. He says, I'm going to push back and say there's a difference between Democrats and Republicans. Republicans look out for the rich, in my opinion. Okay, then, how is all these tax breaks? You tell me that the Democrats don't give tax breaks either? Come on, guys, let's talk about something else. This ain't going nowhere. It's just another tactic to divide us. So, it's Democrat and Republic, black and white, man and woman. We're all divided over there. They won't pick up a book to save their soul. 57% of Americans never pick up another book once they leave high school, but we know every damn thing. Where are we getting all this knowledge from? Okay, according to the Pew Research, this is crazy, but 35% of adults in America get their news and information from Facebook. It's even more on TikTok. You guys are crazy. But I'm supposed to take you serious. You sit there on TikTok all day, then all of a sudden you memorize this stuff and then come back and throw it at me. Hey, what's up, Don? Yeah, it's bad. 35% of adults get their news from Facebook. He said, this is how bad it is. We're supposed to be the richest country or one of the richest countries, and we can't even offer free health care like Germany has, but we can spend $1 billion for war, more than $1 billion, trillions. But you talk about kindergarten, preschool, and you got people, vloggers. I was watching just a smidgen of a live stream yesterday by one of them vloggers in Dumageddon. He's making excuses for Trump. You guys are stupid, man. He's working with the information he had. Trump ain't got no damn information. And that's why he started the war in Iran. Guys, come on, man. But you're right. They can't find money for the things that matter. But meanwhile, go to Israel. Free healthcare, free college. He says, I'm sorry to stay on this, but that Strait of Hormuz situation is mind-boggling that the U.S. seemed caught with their pants down, that Iran would use it for leverage. Why? When you see look at the Secretary of War. Look at that whole administration. They're all corrupt. You know, but here's what I'm saying. Okay, remember we was talking about no matter who the president is, have your shit together. Why does it seem like these generals and, 4 and 5 star generals and admirals and stuff like that, colonels, why all of a sudden are they getting stupid? Or Trump just not listening to these guys? Trump never, served one day in the military. These guys have a strategy. They know what they're doing. Somebody saw that coming. Yeah, well, it's $1 trillion now. But you don't hear anybody talking about that to defend all these other places. The guys want to get on here making excuses. Now, you should get it from yourself. Pick up a book and read it. Neither one of them's reliable. But But yeah, let's get back on the subject. Let's talk a little bit about if you over here now, you on your way over here, you're gonna get here this week. Cause my buddy William, the 24-year-old, he left today. His plane left at 9:30. Man, he was sad. This is the golden era in the Philippines for him. I mean, it's the second time. Both times he stayed 10 days. He said, I'm coming back in 2 months if I'm able. This is the golden era for him. You can't tell him anything. All those negative videos and stuff you hear about the Philippines, he's not even trying to hear that. Okay, this is the golden age for him. I told him, man, don't lose your job over this place. Because a lot of guys, man, they come over here, man, and they get whipped. Another guy, people selling everything. They're not even retired yet. I'm like, man, you guys haven't been over here long enough to make those kind of decisions. Just come back and forth. I came back and forth for 9 years before I finally retired here. You need some information, guys. You're smitten by this place. The booty, the beaches, the low cost of living, the tropical weather and all that, the warm people. Man, it'll change your life, but it'll make you stupid too. A lot of these guys, man, they have no idea. You're on a honeymoon period, man. Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep coming back. Save your money up and all of that. They're cashing everything in, man. Not realizing what they're headed for over here. Remember, once that disillusionment hits them, that's going to make you drunk. You're going to be punch drunk. Then the culture shock hits you. It's disillusionment first. Everything starts going wrong and you're like, man, did I make the right decision? Then the culture shock hits you and you drowning, man. You gasping for air. You wondering, can I make it to the other side? Well, if you keep on going, you eventually will. But it happens to everybody. But you have to be over here for a while. Man, don't make them kind of decisions right now about selling everything and coming over here. Put your time in. Okay, because ain't no help over here for you. Okay, and that line at the embassy is so long right now for help. Okay, don't say I didn't warn you. It would be wrong for me not to warn you. See, I'm not going to talk bad about the Philippines. I'm going to tell you that, yeah, it's easy over here. The cost of living and all of that. You don't have to work and all that. But at the same time, you have to be better over here. Because there are no safety nets, guys. Okay, it's a long fall from the top when there's no net there to catch you. So just think about that before you get ready to quit that nice job and sell everything you got and come over here thinking 100,000. That's going to last you, 2 or 3 years probably. Yeah, but Raymond, but you're at the end of the road. You're like all of us. You worked hard. You saved your money. You're getting retirement every month. You're not selling everything. Like a lot of these young guys, man, these guys are young. And they're talking about cashing it in. It ain't that bad over there. And if it is, you better suck it up. Because if you think it's bad over there, wait till you get over here and you run out of money or whatever. He says, I'm in Cebu now and I see lots of people walking around not looking happy as if they've been caught by culture shock. I didn't make this up, man. The people who study this stuff for expats, workers, retirees, wives and husbands of retirees and workers, they study this stuff. They talk about the honeymoon period, the disillusionment period, then the culture shock. And if you're able to make it out to the other side, you're like, whoo, I made it. Now I'm happy. I can really get on with my life. But You're going to go through that. And most people can't handle it, Reginald. They just can't handle it. And then they'll blame it on the Philippines. No, man. I don't care where you are. He said people need to do a lot of research before they consider moving to another country. And you might want to spend a year there before you decide. Several years. You see what Raymond said? He said, wow, a year went by so fast. Time is going to go by fast over here anyway because you're stress free. Okay, I don't care how many years you live over here, the time goes by fast. Because, like I said, you're not working. You don't have the daily stresses of life that you had over there. You still got them, but not like you did over there. So time just goes like this. Imagine, we've already been back from Vietnam for a month already. Thursday will be 1 month since we got back. Like, wow, where'd that month go to? He said, Hunk, my man is made up. The Philippines is where I want to be. Yeah, but you can do that without being a fool, Sheldon. You're too smart. You're not going to sell everything. Just keep coming back and forth. You know, stay a little bit longer. Save a little bit more money up. Stay a little bit longer. Do it for years, man. Because a lot of people are jumping the gun. They're coming too fast. They're not bringing enough money. They're not thinking it all the way through. The woman's pulling them around by their dick. Don't do that, guys. Okay? It's too many stories that you can learn from. Don't just sit there and be entertained by the shit. Learn from it. Hey, what the hell did he do? First of all, remember, stop taking financial advice from these women over here. That's the number one thing you're doing wrong. Okay, you want to learn on sorry store? Okay, do it. With your own money. You're not going to do it with mine. Because I don't have family over here. If I go broke, I'm done. You can't even buy me a ticket to go back home. A piggery. You know how hard it is to run a damn piggery? And then they're going to eat up half the damn pigs. You know, laundry. You know, people talking about laundry. Guys, don't do it. If you're going to try to run any type of business over here, the only business that I'm sure that will work, that will get you a little bit of income, is sublease these apartments. Do Airbnb. You know, that's what they're doing here. They're making a lot of money, these agents. They're leasing these condos from the owners, and they're turning them into Airbnb. You can do that. Yeah, he said you're jumping into the deep end on swimming orientation day. Yeah, they jumping right in, man. They can't even swim. He says, though I'm 34 years old and still deciding where I want to stay long term, I'm keeping my U.S. citizenship, though. Well, you're smart. No, you don't have to do that here. I mean, the Philippines has one of the most liberal tourist policies. It gives you time to see if the Philippines is for me. You can stay here for 3 years. You know how much you can get done in 3 years? It says, okay, long as you obey the law, and you don't violate the rights of your fellow man and pay your immigration fees, you can stay here for 36 months. That's going to teach you all you need to know, okay? And then if you're not sure, sign up for another 36. Go to Vietnam for a couple of weeks, Thailand for a couple of weeks, Cambodia for a couple of weeks. Come back and start that 36 over, okay? Do it enough times until you convince, hey, I can make it here. Because you have to go through a few women. Okay, that's why I say don't make no rash decisions up front, but that's exactly what we're doing. Getting married, filing for the visa, doing all this stuff in the first year or two, which is stupid. You don't even know who you're dealing with. Now, subleasing, which is Okay, like there's a remember those apartments I showed y'all for what's 11,000 pesos per month now, one bedroom, fully furnished, right? That would be the perfect place. I know the lady. I've sent her so many clients. I could go over there and say, hey, let me rent this apartment from you for 11,000. But I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna turn it into an Airbnb. Is that okay? I'm gonna be fully responsible for any damage or anything like that. I'm gonna vet the people because just like hosts have a review, renters have a review, and that's why a lot of times when you ask to rent a place, they don't get right back with you. They look at your record. Okay, 11,000. There are no Airbnbs in San Carlos City. If you rent an Airbnb here, there may be one or two now. They're gonna send you over to Sapaway Island. But I wouldn't do it here because this is really not a tourist place. But if you could find a place like that in Cebu for just say 15,000 a month, or in Manila 20,000 a month, someplace Dumaguete where tourists are coming, that's what you want to do. Yeah, do it with your own damn money. Well, they've got a bunch of hotels here. Yeah, they got new hotels here. Raymond, you don't worry about that. Hey, what's up? Now, I heard a lot about this place. Matter of fact, I got a friend who's staying there now. A real good guy. He got married over here in the Philippines, and him and his wife are there right now. He really likes that place. He says, I like it here, but I don't go into any place with rose-colored glasses. I accept the place for what it is. I love Cebu. I could easily live in Cebu because there's a whole lot to do there, and the location. You're not that far. You're 3 or 4 hours from so many different places. But it's a lot to do. He said, exactly. If you're hell bent on starting your own business, then where's the money you saved up? Even a bank requires you to save some of your own capital. But this is what we do because we come over here, eyes wide open. The first thing we want to do is ask the woman, well, what's a good business I can start? You don't have any business experience. She don't have any. You don't have a business plan. Okay, you just thinking, oh yeah, that sounds good. Okay. Now my neighbor has a very successful rice wholesale business, but he's Filipino. He knows this country. He knows the people. He knows how they work. This young guy, this guy's young. He's probably in his late 20s, early 30s. But if I was to try that, I'd fall on my face. It's the same with you. You don't even know the people over here. You don't know the culture. You know nothing. You want to come right over here and start a piggery. Well, who's your customers? Who's going to buy all that pig meat? Okay, because everybody's got a piggery over here. You should come over here with your money already intact, passive income or remote job. Don't be dependent on no business over here. It's too many horror stories for you to even think about owning a business over here. How many bars and people are opened up in Angeles City and different places that fell through because they thought it was going to be a good idea that all foreigners do is sit around at the bar all day and drink? No, that's not going to happen. I mean, restaurants that opened up only to close. Okay? Because it sounds good. Another thing, anything that any business I would open over here would have to do with real estate. Okay? Like, what's those places, son, where the students stay? What's it called? You know where the students stay and the workers. You know, what's it called? you know, you got a big place and you rent it out to the student. Like where's Sahara staying? What's it called?
Dormitory.
Yeah, boarding house. A boarding house. That's a great idea. Okay, you go in someplace like Cebu, Manila, place where a lot of people are, and you know, you build the dorm, the boarding house, and you charge them $2,500 each. You put 4 people in a room, but you make it better than any other boarding house. They got hot water. You got a dining area. You can barbecue out front. Okay, yeah, they're gonna eat the pigs. He said, Unc, why doesn't the first one work? I think you know that by now. Because we don't know who we're getting involved with. Something's going to happen eventually. She's going to find out something about you. You're going to find out something about her. It just don't work. The culture hits you. She wasn't the person you thought she was. Okay? She's going to show you who she is. And when she does, believe her. Okay? Remember what happened with yours, right? You know, the minute you got on that plane to go back home, she's already in Cebu with somebody else. Yeah, yeah. Do not fall for this one. Do not fall for this. No, I'm not saying I couldn't do it. Do you know how hard it is to run a business, Q? Period. Most guys come over here. We come over here to retire. We don't want to work. You know how much, you think that you're just going to come here and put that thing on automatic? No, you got to work. The stress is going to be there. Do I got the right workers? That's going to be your number one obstacle. Because a friend of mine, the guy that's got money, he's smart. He's got a PhD and everything. We were talking about a laundry. I said, dude, don't you know your first obstacle is going to be finding the good workers? You're going to be replacing workers every week because the people who are going to work in a laundry, they're at the bottom of the barrel. The minute you give them their first paycheck, they're not coming back. Okay? But it's hard work, Q. Of course I could do it. But I've worked for 45 years. I'm not going to come over here and start working. Certainly if I don't have the right visa. Remember, you can only own 40% of the business anyhow. So, okay, I work big. I work hard. I build it up, and then what? She blows my damn brains out and takes all the profits and everything. You guys got to start thinking. Now, can I do something the Filipinos can't do? Okay, like that sugar cane juice. I'm inquiring now about getting that press made in Vietnam and shipped over here. Okay, but that would just be a gift. Like, okay, y'all give me X amount. Okay, I'm not even going to worry about it. But if you come over here, you want to open up a barbecue place and you competing with the locals, I already told y'all how I feel about that. Now you're basically taking food off their table. Good luck when they burn your place down. Okay? Yeah, are they stealing from me and all that stuff? You're going to die over here, man. Yeah, this is the least you got to worry about is the damn visa. I'm just saying, you got to have your workers, man. You ain't going to get no sleep. You'll be like, man, I thought I was supposed to be retired. You ain't retired. But think long and hard, guys, before you sell everything over there. I don't care if you retired already. Remember, what you're going to have to go back to if it doesn't work out. The guy in Canada sold his house and everything. Come over here. The woman ran off with the money. Now, all he got is his pension. He has nothing to go back to. So many people do that over and over. You cannot trust these women right away, man. It takes a while. They're looking at you like an ATM machine. They seen it happen so many times. Okay? It won't take her long to show you who she is, man. But y'all, the minute you get over here, you jumping in the bed with the woman. You investing in businesses. You investing in her millions of pesos. It's no help for some of you guys. You know, we can talk till we blue in the face. You're still coming over here doing the same stupid shit over and over and over. Hey, what's up, Jason? It's been a while. He said, I unplugged from the Matrix, by the way. Good. Man, I know you feel better. But don't plug back in once you get over here with a business and all that stuff. Because that's what happens. He said, I would never open a business in the Philippines. It's not fair to me to use my U.S. dollars competing against their pesos. And that's a great point, but flip that upside down. You're spending in dollars and you got to give back in pesos. So right now, what is it? 60.69. For every dollar you spend, you got to earn 61 pesos back. Man, that's going to be a tough sale. You better have a hell of a product. Okay? And remember, there's always going to be slow spots. Y'all thinking in your mind, like I used to think when I was little, if I open up a business, it's just going to be crowds and lines everywhere from what I want. Nope. Most of the shit, most of these businesses they open, man, the pesos is crawling in. You know, they're squeezing out some pesos, especially these sorry stores where you buy a candy bar at the wholesaler for 3 pesos and you sell it for 5 pesos. So you're getting 2 peso profit on every damn chocolate bar you sell. Well, how many damn chocolate bars you gonna sell to make 100 pesos? Same with cigarettes and everything, guys. That's a bad proposition, guys. Yeah, I mean, this is something that I've told people over and over and over. I mean, you know, building a house and not be here, you know. Why would you do that? Okay, me and Maryland, okay, remember now, y'all got to remember this, there's a guy building a big, gigantic house over here. But it still looks the same all these months later. They're milking his ass because he's not there. Unless he's doing some type of special something to that house. I'm like, dude, something should be already done. That house should be, somebody should be in that house. It's been a year already. Maybe longer than that. And all this looks the same. They milking his ass. He said, stress gone. Life is much better. I'm in Vietnam, not the Philippines. No one don't want. I'm in the Philippines. No one don't want one right now living my best life. Yeah, no, I don't want one right now. I'm living my best life. I hear you. I love Vietnam. What part of Vietnam are you in? Yeah, I love Vietnam. We already making plans to go back, even though it's war. This war ain't gonna last, man. I'm having a positive mindset on that. I don't think it's gonna last, man. The pressure, the world's gonna put pressure on them, man, to stop that war. Otherwise, man, we're gonna be done. I don't care how much money you got. It's not gonna be enough, man. Did y'all see? Go on my Facebook page, my Sunshine Show's Facebook page, and see how many people showed up when I gave away 10,000 pesos worth of free gasoline in Calatrava, right up the road here, about 20 kilometers from me. Did you see how many people showed up at that place? They're getting 200 pesos worth of free gasoline. After I cut it up at 50, man, it was just a line of people. It was blocking traffic, man. If that keeps going up like that, the price of gasoline, guys, Q, we're not saying that. We're saying they worked hard for it. Of course, they have successful businesses over here. But do you want to put in the work? He said, so no foreigners are successful business in the Philippines? Of course they do. But how long? Do you know the story? Are you on the outside looking in? Do you know how long it took? Have they even made a profit yet? What do you consider successful? Breaking even would be a success in a business over here. Okay? He says if someone can do it, surely others can. Well, who says that? That's a lie. That's a lie. Okay? That's rhetoric. Some people have a special talent. Okay? Everybody's discipline is not the same. We're not saying it's impossible. Okay, let me tell you this story and let this marinate in your mind, Q. Okay, about opening up a business over here. So an American guy comes over here in Cebu. He opens up a successful cookie business. He's giving the stores around Cebu his cookies on assignment. They're great cookies. They're selling. So every Wednesday he goes around and collects his money from the businesses. Well, they were waiting for him one day and they killed him. But his wife, they did not touch his wife. Okay? Just think about that. When you open up a brick and mortar business over here, Q, you're no longer invisible. People are watching you. Okay? Filipinos can't keep a secret. They're going to tell, yeah, this guy, whoever you're selling the business, oh, he did a great business here last week. His cookies are really selling. That's just one of the risks. How long did it take for him to build that up like that? And staying up all night, cooking the cookies and, and all that stuff. We're saying it's stressful. Okay? We're not saying it's impossible. I didn't say it's impossible. We're saying, what are you going to open? What are you going to do that Filipinos aren't already doing? And there's not 100 of those businesses already. Because once they see you doing it, they're going to do it. Where are you going to open? Don't just be talking that general stuff. Hey, Pearl Graphics. He said, yeah, that was a good. It just shocked me, but I'm going to tell you that you see how organized it was, though. Because that's the one thing I was worried about. It's like, that's why I just stayed at that one filling station. That's what I'm going to do from now on. I'm not going to go back and forth. I'm just going to say, look, the first 50 people or whatever it is, 25 or whatever, I'm going to sit there. Good thing I got off at the wrong filling station. If I'd have got off at the filling station I was supposed to, right there in the center of town, it probably would have been a madhouse. But those people were standing there in line. He said most businesses fail in the first 2 to 5 years. I think that's across countries and cultures. That's my take. And I believe you. Okay, now you already over here. You're trying to stay as long as you can. You got your seed money. Why are you trying to risk that? And then go back home. Run out of money. Get robbed. Get killed. You're stressed, die of a heart attack or stroke over here, trying to earn a few pesos. You're not going to outwork Filipinos over here in their own country, Q. You're not going to do it. He said, you guys better learn how to trade, not invest. Trading is your best bet to earning hella good money while in the Philippines. Yeah, but it's no guarantee. There's a YouTuber. He just bought a 7-bedroom house, but he's talking about he trades in gold, but he puts the disclaimer there. He said this is risky. He said it's not for everybody. I wouldn't suggest you do it. He said. It's not like you paragraphing. Okay. Well, we're not saying that, Q. We're not saying that you can't come over here and do it. We're just saying the hard work investing. Okay, man. If you want to do that, come on. I mean, be my guest. You'll be in that long list line of sites that's tried. Okay, you're gonna end up losing your money. You way out in the province. What kind of business you gonna have out there? Who's gonna buy your product? You don't even have a business plan. You don't even know how to write a business plan. I mean, you just on here pushing back. You don't have a clue about what it takes to run a business. He said trading is a viable option if you know how to and want to learn it. It's a lot of effort and time. Thank you. But they're making it seem so easy. This guy said, look, this is risky. He said, I had a good day today. He bought a 7-bedroom house over down in Deville. And everybody's like, dude, you done lost already. I think he paid $2.6 million for it or something like that. And it's going to need a lot of work. But I just wouldn't put all that money in somebody's hands that don't know what they're doing. I mean, and I really don't have any skins in the game. It's like, why would you, John used to say it, why would you want to be worth more dead than alive? Okay, and that's a lot of times that's what these big successful guys get themselves into over here. You buying these big ass houses for these women and everything like that. And a lot of guys don't. There's very few people that do. Very few people. He said there's a 25-year-old Filipino started a very successful tour business on the island I just came back from. He said people are already trying to copy him. He had to raise prices. Well, the tourism business is big here in the Philippines. And you'll see a lot of young Filipinos that have those type of businesses. But who needs them for real? Unless you're really going to go on a tour. Like, if you go to Bohol, if you go to Alona Beach, they're going to be lined up with those signs offering a tour. Probably working for the same company. Same with Boracay. It would be tough unless, like you said, it's some out of the way island. But do they really have the liability? See, this is what Americans and foreigners would be thinking about. The liability involved in having a business like that. Certainly with these diving schools and stuff. Man, come on, guys. Who wants to open a business in my retirement? But yeah, just the liability involved. You got a scuba diving business. Man, it's just too much can go wrong. Or just say, for instance, even Derek Q had that successful motorcycle business. I wonder what his liability is, though. I wonder how he's got that set up where if somebody has an accident on one of his motorcycles, how does he protect himself? Or if you're going to do island hopping or any of that stuff, you better think it all the way through. It's going to keep you up at night. But we think the minute we come over here, I'll get a piggery. We start doing, if I get if I get the sow and him, and then they have 10, and then we sell that and do it again and do it again. This is what you thinking. Not realizing you ain't going to sell all that pork, man. Who you going to sell it to? But that would be, I tell you what, though, this would be the only business I would try. There's no overhead. You got a phone anyway. You know, why not? Throw your hand in the, throw your hat in the game. This would make more sense to me than all that other stuff. Because if I don't make it, then I just, you know, ride off into the sunset. I fade into the scene. So many do it, you know. But that makes a whole lot more sense to bring a camera over here and start talking about my life. But we look at these channels like mine and others, and you think that, oh, it just caught fire or traction right away. Man, it takes a long time, guys. And people don't have it, you know, because when I started my channel, was doing the lockdowns, I didn't have nothing else to do. It wasn't like I was sitting around thinking, oh, Sunshine Show is going to blow up and this and that. People are going to recognize me. No, guys. I'm more shocked as anybody. I didn't even know the Philippines was this popular. I'm just sitting there talking, you know, I want my money. They owed me $53. I wanted my the payout was $100. But y'all see this stuff and you think it's a lot of it has to do with luck, man. A lot of it's luck. There ain't no skill involved. You know, yeah, you got to have something to talk about and you got to make it interesting. But, man, just getting on the radar. You know how long it took me? A long time, man. Longer than what people want to put in. They think the minute you get on here, talk to some of these guys. That's why you see them come and go, come and go. It's hard. Ask Richie Rich. He's on here. Look how long he's been on here. And they still can't really gain traction. I think the later you started, it's harder now because it's just so many people trying to talk about the same stuff. But that would make a whole lot more sense to me than to start a piggery or a damn laundry. And what else do they always try to get you to do? Something stupid. Because I tried to help Maryland with a rice wholesale business. Everybody wanted credit. How am I going to re-up? You think I'm just going to keep on going in debt, hoping that they're going to pay me back? No. I did that 2 times and I was like, I'm done. It's people that still owe me. I'm going to tell you how long ago that was. Now, you know, Sunshine Shows will be 6 years in July. This was before Sunshine Shoulders. There's people who still owe me money now for that damn rice. So I've been through that queue. Okay, so, you know, you better know these people. Oh, we still got them. One of them's pregnant, but I didn't do it for business. I bought one. Me and the grandmother went half. We bought 2 of them for 4,000 pesos total. I done forgot about it. For real, Merlin reminded me last week that one of them's pregnant a couple of weeks ago. I forgot I bought them. It wasn't for business. But yeah, one of them's pregnant now. Yeah, but here's the thing though, who you gonna sell it to? It's hard work. All that investment, you know, you got a veterinarian to take care of your pigs. The feed and all that is expensive. What are they gonna eat? All of it is bad unless you know the people. You don't know their habits. You don't know your target market. Who are you going to sell it to? You better put in there credit. You're going to have a credit budget. Because they coming for the credit. Okay? A lot of business, one thing that they do over is the loan business is big over here. I'm not just talking about the 5-6 business. You know, I'm talking about the banks and these lending companies, man. Any place you go to, I'm talking about it's all kinds of these little savings and loan places, right? They give loans to OFWs, teachers, if you get a pension, man, they all over the place. I'm like, it's like right here in Little San Carlos City. It's like 4 or 5 of them in a row. Then you go up the street, it's 4 or 5 in a row. That's a good business. Where you getting that interest, and then if you want to take the risk and be the 5-6, even a G cash now, that would be something you could do. But that's slow money. I cashed out 5,000 the other day, and they charged me 40 pesos. Well, how many people are going to come in there and cash out 5,000 for 40 pesos? Y'all don't have the patience, man. You can't compete with Filipinos with patience. They'll work all day in the sari store and might make 200 pesos for the whole day. That ain't even profit. That's just being there all day. You getting 2 pesos off each pack of cigarettes, and I think now it's a little bit more with the Cokes, because I bought they like Royal here. Every now and then Maryland will let them drink the Royal, the orange soda. They charge me 80 pesos, right? I think it's like 57 at the grocery store. So you're getting 23 pesos off of that. But how many of them you selling every day? Guys, don't do that. Don't mess your life up doing that. Come over here, have a remote job, have your retirement, or just a shitload of savings, or all of that combined, and live your best life, worry-free. Okay? That's the only way you're going to get the most out of the Philippines. The brick and mortar businesses, man, you're going to stand out like a sore thumb. Because they know they know Maryland, they never had a business before. Imagine if I opened up a business. They know whose money that is. They probably wouldn't even patronize her. He said, I like the Calvin playing best, yeah. He said the moment they found out she is connected to a gringo, the payment stopped cold. Yeah. Speaking from experience, gringo, yeah. That's a great point, Robert. This is Harry Shoulders right here. Yeah, gringo. Yeah, you got to know the people, man. You better not just come over here and start opening up businesses and stuff like that. Well, there's been people who's had successful lemonade businesses, but it's hard work. When you talk to Steve and Bea, remember Steve and Bea there in Vietnam? They had a very successful business, but then the COVID came in and shut it down. But it was a lot of work, though. They didn't just start that up and all of a sudden, boom. He was inventing shit. I mean, he's sharp, man. He's inventing stuff that, just off the top of his head that's going to help his business. And he said he still ran into problems with ice and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it takes a lot of hard work. But if you want to open up a business, do something the Filipinos aren't doing. That sugarcane business, the sugarcane juice business, is a good one. I'm just saying, I would talk to a foreigner over here who's already got a successful business, if I'm even thinking about it. I wouldn't talk to my girlfriend. This is who we're listening to. This is the problem. Y'all listening to the wrong people. Taking financial advice from a broke woman. And then when the stories are on YouTube, y'all have the nerve to be shocked. The guy that lost the 17 million. Okay. He's taking financial advice on Filipinos that's broke. and buying this property and buying the business, whatever it was. And she ended up screwing him out of it. No, that was from Rafi Twofold. I made a video about stop taking advice from these women. I put him in there as an example. You know, these women don't got no financial advice or business advice. Well, 1 out of 10,000 of them that you meet, you're taking advice from a broke woman that you met on the dating site. That's what the whole video was about. I put him and a couple more people as examples to show you what we're doing wrong. Man, as high as gasoline is now, you'd have to charge 5,000 pesos for an ice cream cone. See, this is what I'm talking about, guys. Listen to this, guys. Listen to him. He says, I'm wondering if they have an ice cream truck that comes through with the popsicles. No, they're walking. They're walking. Okay? Gasoline is 100 pesos a liter over here. And you riding around, how much is your popsicles going to cost? 500 pesos for a damn popsicle? He said, man, you international simp tricks are hilarious. Well, you must be a young guy. Wait till you get older. Okay? Don't knock it till you try it. Okay? Those guys got money to begin with, remember? They got money to begin with. Yeah, yeah. Hell, what would he do? He's riding around all his gas. Gasoline's expensive here. Okay, a friend of mine, he just retired finally. Shout out to Danny Noel. He just retired over here to the Philippines for good. He's been coming back and forth, right? So he bought a nice fancy truck. Cost him $153 to fill it up with diesel. And Merlin's like, well, how much is that? Yeah, because he paid, cost him 9,000 something pesos to fill that thing up. So you going to ride around in that selling popsicles? Yeah, they walking around, man, selling ice cream, tapioca, yeah, all kind of stuff. They ain't no riding around. Either that or they're on their bicycle with that little bell. You ain't going to beat that because they're making their own ice cream. And Tayo is the name of it. And they'll come to Tayo. And you go out there and it's 10 pesos. They got a 10 peso and a 20 peso. You going to do that all day for 10 pesos? You got to do that 6 times to make $1. Man, you better sit down somewhere, guys. Yeah, he bought a brand new diesel. It's nice, but shit. Yeah, he paid he paid $153 to fill it up. He said it was the equivalent of $9.60 a gallon for gasoline over here. But now remember, he's been coming back and forth for years. He's already built 2 houses over here. He's here now for good, but that's a lot of money, man. He said, I'm going to the Philippines April 1st. Man, yo, you're going to love it over here, man. I don't see why people talk about the Philippines. Like, what are you doing over here? They give you so much time to pick this place apart. I'm too busy having fun and relaxing and having a good time, man. I don't get it. I don't get it, guys. Hey, what's up, 8,000 miles? Wow. Wow. 107. Yeah, I saw that. He said, I have to have an e-bike over there. You have to do something, man. And see, Merlin is so cheap, right? And you can't change people. I'll be like, look, you need to fill up that tank. You know, fill it up. And she still go and get a 150, 200. It's just habit. They can't see themselves spending 600 or 700 pesos to fill up the tank. It's crazy, you know. But man, you You cannot change people, man. And that's another reason why the guy says, why doesn't the first relationship work? Because there's a lot of the things that culture class is going to drive you crazy. I mean, everything, how much does it cost? I'm paying for it. Don't worry about it. Oh, man. We went and got the girls' shoes yesterday because Sophia's award ceremony tomorrow, right? Well, they got Barbie outfits that we bought in Bacallan. So I said, okay, let's get them Barbie shoes. We know Barbie shoes over here is about 1,400, 1,900. Oh, she don't want, that's too expensive, she said. Not realizing you get what you pay for. So Sophia ended up getting some for 600, but I made sure to get Booby. Now you gonna buy Booby these Barbie shoes. I ain't got time to keep on buying stuff over and over and over. Then they fall apart. Yeah, yeah. How much does it cost now? Yeah, it's only gonna go up. He said I was in Boracay. Well, they used to do that to my wife down in Zamboanga all the time. They'll go like this, right? Because they think that they see her with you, that she's liberated, that she's easy. So they're gonna flirt. But yeah, that's the only thing that, man, that drives me crazy about Maryland. She's just so cheap, man. And I gotta remember, I can't change her. This is how she was her whole life. Oh, but it drives me up the wall. And she'll go to the store and she won't buy. We'll put it on the list, and she won't buy it because she thinks it's too expensive. And I'm like, buy the damn like the light bulbs and stuff like it. It's too much, man. Crazy. That's one thing y'all gonna run into. And a lot of guys be like, oh yeah, I'm glad my Filipino looked after my money like that. Man, it'll drive you crazy. Every day you asking, how much does it cost? That's too expensive. Man, you gonna go crazy. Watch what I tell you. And next thing you know, you're gonna be getting into it and you're gonna be like, I can't deal with this. But I've been through it enough to know, okay, I can deal with that now. I can't change it. I've never bought Maryland. I bought Maryland something new out of the mall one time. I spent like 3 or 4 thousand. Right? She never wore the stuff. She eventually gave it away. Maryland does her shopping at the Okay. I can't change that. Even to this day, man. He said, yeah, you spend more money on replacing low quality than just buying what's built to last. Yeah, you buy it once, man. My mother taught me that a long time ago. I got a friend here named Oliver. He sells me the same thing. He said, man, when it's time for you to buy that car, he said, buy it once. Don't be like me. Because he bought that little Vios. But now he's got like, what's the other one, like the SUV by Toyota? It's real nice. But he said, yeah, buy it once. He said, change is cheap as hell. He's gotten a lot better, but damn, no, man. There is no getting better for Maryland. We've been together 7 years, man. And every time we buy something, she's looking at the price tag. And, it's too expensive. No, it's not the Highlander. It starts with a C, I believe. Yeah, thank you. This is what I try to tell her. He said running that gas low consistently would cause the pump to fail prematurely. I'm saying, look, fill up the damn tank. He said, me and Raymond compare stories about how cheap our women are. Same when I buy from a clothing store. Yeah, straight from Okay. And you learn to live with that. Yeah, he said the average price of gas in Iran, yeah, $1.36 a gallon. Yeah, but I mean, you try to find like uh, a balance between you and her. Because I'm not expensive, but I'm not cheap, man. I didn't grow up expensive. I mean, I didn't grow up rich. But you can be too cheap. I mean, it just drives me crazy. I've just gotten used to it. And it's just, I mean, imagine, what expensive is to her and what expensive is to you. He said, hey, Cal, if you're not busy between April 13th through the end of the month, I love to take you guys out for lunch or dinner. It would mean a lot. Hey, man, if you anywhere near Cebu or Dumaguete, someplace, Bacolod, yeah, that sounds great. But hell, if you up there in Manila, Richie Rich them are up there. They good people, man. Are you hip to 8,000 miles, Richie Rich? He got a channel. He's a good guy. But yeah, that sounds good, man. He said, I hear you, Q. I ain't out here spending a ton of money. Yeah, me either. But damn, it's like, I can give you so many examples. It's crazy, man. It's not even worth it. I send her the store, because I'm keeping Booby drinking milk. When they little, they drink milk, but then, 50% of Filipino adults lack calcium because they start drinking milk when they little, but then they stop. I keep Booby drinking. As long as she likes it and wants to drink it, I'm going to let her do it. So hell, I send Marilyn to the store to get the big thing of milk. She'll bring back one or two to last, It's crazy, man. He said donuts. Yeah, everything's too much. And they like that. They like that okay stuff because they figure that, it's made from overseas. But hell, you got to boil that stuff. You got to boil it. Man, there's no telling where those clothes have been, how long they've been there and all that, man. You literally have to boil it. Who wants to go through all that? But they do. They boil it, then they wash it, then they wear it. I ain't boiling shit. Not no clothes. And that, they may go into the okay like an event. Because whenever a guy comes here to visit me and he has a girlfriend, that's the thing to do. They'll go hang out at the okay store and sit there and, because you can't beat Filipinos with patience, man. They patient. They'll sit there in a big old pile of clothes and they'll go through every piece. It's crazy, yeah. It's like an event. Yeah, ain't no hot water. You got to boil them damn things. It ain't enough to do it in hot. I learned that down in Zamboanga. You can't just take that stuff out of there and wash it in the wash machine because you can still smell it. You know that old smell that you get when you go in the DAV or the Goodwill? It's worse. You got to boil that shit out. Hey, but let me get out here, guys. I appreciate y'all, man. All your support. Your super chat, super stickers, all your support for Sunshine Shoulders. I mean it. I'm going to have a meet and greet next month. I'm trying to get it together. It's probably going to be here, man, at the Megs. Y'all can go swimming if you want to. All the food and the venue is going to be on me. If you want something to drink, you got to do that yourself to try to help, the business. But I'm going to rent the place and, they'll have the buffet for food and we'll have the music and everything. It'll be pretty nice. I'm going to get that done in the next few days and I'll put it out there. It'll be the first one I've had in a long time. At least 3 or 4. I think since we had one in Siki Hall, which turned out to be good. But yeah. Okay. Take care, y'all. Yeah, stay low-key during Holy Week, guys. Wherever you are, just stay put, man. Don't say I didn't warn you. Don't try to travel right now.